This is Miss Sheik, ASMR, and welcome to our channel. Today I'm super excited to be filming a custom for one of my OG subscribers who has been following me on Instagram since 2016 when I first started making ASMR. So thank you very much to you for being a follower and subscriber for all that time. So this person has asked me specifically to talk about my customized clothes, and they are really big fan of how I used to make ASMR. They really like it when people talk in depth about a passion or a hobby. So I have actually been planning to make a video like this for quite some time. I was originally planning to make a fabric and shirt scratching video, but I accidentally scratched one of the beads from my top whilst doing it. So I was wondering how will I be able to make a video like this, showing my customized clothes. So thank you very much to you for suggesting a video with these triggers. So the video will have soft speaking and whispering, tracing, some tapping, and a bit of scratching as well. So let's get started. So the first t-shirt is one that I customized in around 2006. The patches were made from a t-shirt that I wore in the late 90s. I wore it a lot until it no longer fit, but since I really liked the pattern design, I thought I'd cut up the shirt into pieces and use the pieces as patches. And I also sewed some of the patches on to a handbag, which I'll show you in another video. The original shirt had an Asian style theme, I thought that I'd sew the patches onto this plain black t-shirt. I also painted the shirt, the original Asian style shirt, with some fabric paint and sewed some sequins and beads to them. You can see on the shirt that the girls in the design have bell bottoms or flared trousers and chunky highlights, which I'm sure many of you will know are favourite and popular styles of the 90s. The beads were sewn on separately on the original t-shirt, sequins and beads. When I bought this top, I also sewed beads and sequins to the neckline near the shoulders of this t-shirt, and I also sewed a small patch on the back and on the bottom left. The next t-shirt was also customized using another t-shirt that my aunt bought me from the Philippines in the early 2000s. I really liked the doll design on the shirt, but the original shirt didn't really fit me. It was, I think, a size or two too small, but I still wanted to keep the design, so I cut it out and I used it as a patch for this long plain black top. My mum helped me to sew this patch using a sewing machine, as the material of the black top was a bit too stretchy to sew by hand. We learned how to use sewing machines at school in year 8 when we were about 13, but I wasn't very good at it. Our art teacher at the time, she kind of preferred focusing on the students who were good at using sewing machines, and she never really helped the others, so unfortunately I never learned how to use a sewing machine properly, which is kind of why I end up sewing things by hand. going forward in time to 2015, when I was living and working in the south of Spain. I lived in a hostel and the TV was very old and didn't have very many channels. I hadn't customized many clothes since the late 2000s, so I thought I'd take up this hobby again. This was originally a t-shirt dress that I got in River Island. I didn't like the style that much, but I did like the sleeves and the donut print. So I cut the hem so that it was just above the hips, although it did kind of ride up with wear. I also turned the neckline into a bit of a scoop top. I also hand sewed these little glass beads onto the O to look like sprinkles. Sprinkles, sprinkles, sprinkles. This was a dress that I got from a market in Valencia in Spain for only €1. The department store called Ingles had this huge haberdashery section, and I got lots of the beads and materials from there. I found these lace and crochet trimmings there, and I thought that they'd look great sewed onto t-shirts, dresses, shorts, you know. I sewed 2 lace trimmings onto the pockets, and the dress is a bit short, so I also sewed a crochet lace trimming to the very edge of the hem to make it at least an inch longer. The last t-shirt was customized in around 2017. I bought this t-shirt purposely after watching a tutorial on t-shirt braiding on YouTube. The tutorial suggested using a t-shirt that wasn't too stretchy. I found this t-shirt at a market in Seville and I thought it would be perfect for the job. Perfect. This was my first attempt at t-shirt braiding, so it's not as even as I would have liked, but I think that kind of adds to the uniqueness. I was going to do a braided and woven pattern on the back, but I settled for 2 patterns on the shoulders instead. You need a pair of sharp fabric scissors for this, and then you cut slits along the sleeves. I can't remember how exactly I did the braiding, but I remembered it required a bit of sewing to keep the design in place. I also added a smaller knotted pattern on the side near the sleeves. This one was made by cutting small slits along the front, stretching them a bit, then cutting the slits in half, then tying the fabric back together. I also cut 2 slits up the side to loosen the shirt up a bit. I can then tie one side up if I wanted to, and then wear it loose instead. And this is a hoodie that I made using a customized jumper, or sweatshirt. So I found this jumper in, I think it was in Bershka or Stradivarius, and I really liked it, but I found that after I put it in the wash, I think it was just 2 or 3 times, the white stuff at the front, it used to be like this fuzzy sort of white material on the lettering. It just sort of came off really quickly. So the first thing I did to customize the jumper was to repaint the letters in white. The trouble is, as I was painting it, I did notice that because of the fabric, it was kind of hard to keep within the lines, and the paint would kind of run onto the sides of the lettering. So I use these black fabric pens to outline the letters first, and then I filled the letters in with white paint. White fabric paint. And then I bought this hoodie later on, and it was just a plain blue hoodie. The jumper also didn't last a very long time because it kind of stretched a bit in the wash and looked a bit misshapen. It could also be the washing settings, possibly. But it was quite hard to regulate the washing machine in my flat in Spain. So in the end I ended up cutting up the jumper into patches. And then first I glued the patches onto the hoodie with some fabric glue. And then I sewed around the edges. So I decided to put the original writing, which was on the front of the jumper, onto the back of the hoodie, as there was a big space to put something there. And then I also cut some trimmings from the jumper, and I sewed it around the edges of the pockets as like a contrasting piece of fabric. I can't actually remember when I customized this, but I think I probably customized it when I lived in Spain. This is a denim jacket that was given to me by one of my old housemates. She was a much older woman in her 50s, but she was very fashionable, and she was from Chile, and she was very flamboyant with her style and her dresses. And she gave me this denim jacket which no longer fit her. And I thought I would customize it with some sequins and some lace trimmings and some pearl beads as well on the pockets. And I also added some trimmings as well on the side, on the hems. I customized a lot more t-shirts when I was in Spain, as well as some jackets and t-shirts, hoodies, some shorts as well. Unfortunately, I no longer have some of them because they no longer fit, but I will link a market roleplay that I made when I lived in Spain, and you can see some of the clothes that I customized which I no longer have. And I also customized some jeans, some flared jeans and some skinny jeans from a few years ago, but I think I must have given them to my cousins in the Philippines because I can no longer find them. Anyway, that's all for now. Good night, and I'll see you